Hello kids, I am Priyanka and I'm back again with my new lecture that is A Day in the Country. Between 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning, a dark leaden colored mass is creeping over the sky towards the sun. There is a sound of faraway rumbling. A warm wind frolics across over the grass, bends the trees and stir up the dust. In a minute there will be rain and a real storm will begin. Foikla, a little girl of 6, is running through the village looking for Trenty the cobbler. The white haired, barefoot child is pale. Her eyes are wide open, her lips are trembling. Uncle, where is Trenty? She asks everyone she meets. No one answered. They all are preoccupied with approaching storm and taking refuge in their huts. At last she meets Terenty, bosom friend. Uncle, where is Terenty? At the kitchen garden, answered he. The girl runs behind the hut to the kitchen gardens and there finds Terenty. The tall man with thin, pock-marked face, very long legs, and bare feet, dressed in a woman's tattered jacket, is standing near the vegetable plots, looking with drowsy eyes at the dark storm cloud. On his long crane like legs, he sway in the wind. Uncle Trenty, the white-headed girl addressed him. Uncle darling. Trenty bends down to Fikla, and his grim face is overspread with a smile, such as come with people faces when they look at something little foolish and absurd, but warmly loved. Ah, Fikla, he says, lapsing friendly. Where have you come from, Uncle Trenty? Said Fikla with a sob. Brother Danilka has loved an accident come along. What sort of accident? What sort of accident? Ouch, what thunder! Holy, holy, holy! What sort of accident? In the Count Copsey, Danilka struck his hand into a hole in a tree and he cannot get it out. Come along, uncle, do be kind and pull his hand out. How was it he put in hand in? What for? He wanted to get a cuckoo egg out of a hole for me. The day has hardly begun and already you are in trouble. Trenty shook his head. Trenty comes out of the kitchen garden and began striding down the village street. He walks quickly without stopping or looking from side to side. Fokla can hardly keep up with him. The clouds have by now covered the sun, and soon afterward there is not a speck of blue left in the sky. It glows dark. Holy, holy, holy! Whispered Fekla, hurrying after Trenty. The first raindrop, big and heavy, like dark dots on the dusty road. A big drop fall on the Fokla cheek and glides like a tear down her chin. The rain has begun, mutters and cobbler. That's fine, Fokla, little girl. The grass and the trees are fed by the rain, as we are by herd. And as for the thunders, don't you be frightened, little girl. Why should it kill a little thing like you? As soon as the rain began, the wind drops are the only sound in the patter of rain dropping like fine shot of young Ree and Prash Road. We shall get soaked, Fokla mutters. Trenty, there won't be a dry spot left on us. Ho ho, my girl, it's run down my neck. But don't be frightened, silly. The grass will be dry again, the earth will be dry again, and we shall be dry again. There is the same sun for all of us. The flash of lightning, some 14 feet long, gleams above their head. There is a loud peal of thunder, and it seemed to Fokla that something big, heavy, and round is rolling over the sky and tearing it open exactly over her head. Holy, 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 says Trenty. Don't be afraid, little girl. It is not from spite that it thunders. Trenty head and Fokla feet are covered with lumps of heavy wet clay. It's slippery and it's difficult to walk, but Trenty strides on more and more rapidly. The weak little girl is breathless and ready to drop, but at last they go into the count copse. The wash tree, stride by a gust of wind, drop a perfect waterfall upon them. Trinity stumbles upon over stumps and began to slacken his pace. Whereabouts in Danilka, he said, led me to him. Fokla led him into a thicket and after going a quarter of a mile pointed to Danilka. Her brother, a little fellow of 8 with hair as red or ochre and pale, silky, sickly face, stands leaning against a tree, and his head on one side looking sideways at the sky. In one hand he holds his shabby old cap, and in another is hidden an old lime tree. The boy is gazing at the stormy sky and apparently not thinking of his trouble. Hearing footsteps and seeing the cobbler, he gives silky smile and says, "Terrible! A lot of thunder, Trinity. I have never heard so much thunder in all my life. And where is your hand? In the hole? Put it out, please, Trinity." The wood had broken at the edge of a hole and jammed Danilka's hand. He could push it farther in, but could not pull out. Trinity snaps off the broken piece, and the boy's hand, red and crushed, is released. "It's terrible how it's thundering," the boy says again, trembling his hand. "What makes it thunder, Trinity?" "One cloud run against the other," answered the cobbler. The party came out of the copse and walked along the edge of it towards the darkened road. The thunder gradually abates and its rumbling is heard far away beyond the village. "The ducks flew by here the other day," Trinity says. Danilka, still rubbing his hand. "Fokla, would you like me to show you a nightingale nest?" "Don't touch it, you might disturb them," says Trinity, wringing the water out of his cap. The nightingale is a singing bird. He has had a voice given him in his throat to gladden the heart of a man. It is a sin to disturb him. The bright patch of blue appears in the sky, and here are some bees, cries Danilka, pointing to the branch of a young oak tree. The drenched and the chilled bees are huddled together to the branch. There are so many of them that either bark nor leaf can be seen. Many of them are settled on one another. "That's a swarm of bees," Trinity informed them. "They are flying looking for a home, and why the rain comes down upon them they settle. If a swarm is flying, you need only sprinkle water on them to make them settle. Now, if say you wanted to take the swarm, you would bend the branch with them into a sack and shake it, and they all will fall in." Little Fokla suddenly frowns and rubs her neck vigorously. Her brother looked at her neck and sees a big swelling on it. "Hey, hey," laughed the cobbler. "Do you know where you get it from?" "Fokla, old girl, there was a Spanish fly on some tree in the wood, and drop has fallen on your neck. That's what's made them swelling. The sun appears from behind the clouds and the flood the wood, the fields, and the three friends with their warm light. The dark menacing cloud has gone far away and taken the storm with it. The air is warm and fragrant. That herb is given when your nose bleeds," says Trinity, pointing to the woolly looking flower. "It does good." They cross the railway line is going down the embankment. They walk towards the river. They walk not with any object, but just at random, and talk all the way. Danilka asks question, Trinity answer him. Trinity answered all his questions, and there is no secret in the nature which baffles him. He knows everything. Thus, for example, he knows the name of all the wind flowers, animals, and the stones. He knows what herbs cure diseases. He has no difficulty in telling the ages of horse and cows and cows looking at the sunset, at the moon, or the birds, he can tell what sort of weather it will be the next day. And indeed, it is only Trinity who is so wise. Silently, Sledge, the inner innkeeper, the market gardener, the shepherd, and all the villagers, generally speaking, know us as much as he does. These people have learned from books, but in the field, in the wood, or the river bank, the teachers have been the bird themselves. When they sang to them, the sun, when it left a glow of crimson behind it at setting, these very trees and wild herb, the two of the men and cobbler and the boy walked about the field, talk increasingly and are not weary. They would wander about the world endlessly. They walk and in their talk of beauty of the earth do not notice the frail little girl tramping about them. Towards midi, all three sit down on the river bank. Danilka take out his bag, a piece of bread soaked and reduced to the mash, and began to eat. Trinity says a prayer when he has eaten excuse me, eaten the bread. They stretch himself on the sandy bank and fallen asleep. While he is asleep, the boys gaze at the water, pondering. He has many different things to think of. He had just seen the storm, the bees, the ant. Only towards the evening, our wanderers return to the village. The children go to the deserted barn. The boy does not sleep. He gazes into the darkness, and it seems to him that he is seeing all that he has seen in the day: the storm clouds, the bright sunshine, the birds, the fish. Linky Trinity. He longs to tell someone all that is haunting him now, but there is no one to tell. Folkley is a little and could not understand. I will tell Trinity tomorrow, think the boy. The child fall asleep thinking of the homeless cobbler, and in the night Trinity comes to them and puts bread under his head, and no one sees his love. It is seen only by the moon, which floats in the sky and peeps carelessly through the holes in the wall of the deserty barn. And that was all about the story. Thank you.